you'll never find someone who cares, someone who loves you the way BSV do. What's up, everybody? I'm glad you've come. Boy, I have worked so much lately. I don't know how the heck I'm still walking around. My knees, I have 2 torn ACLs that I've not had fixed, and I've been climbing ladders on them now for a couple years. I had a pretty bad fall where I tore my ACL. I'll attach that to one of these videos if you'd like to see that at some point. We're living in some tough, divisive times. And I think part of the problem is that every single person out there, especially in the United States, identifies with the family that they grew up in. When you're a child living in a family, you usually go by what they've taught you. Your core beliefs will be what you've learned in the household. For instance, if you're born into a Christian household, most likely you will grow up learning Christian things and knowing the world from the viewpoint of the Christian family. Now, a lot of Christian children run away from the religion, and I can understand why, because of essentially the power trip that the parents may be on based on their religion. But still, you learn your life through the lens of what you know and what you identify with. And in the United States of America, we send our children to school at 5, sometimes even younger if they're in preschool and things like that.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Peachtree Industrial Boulevard.
Would you shush? GPS? Anyway, she's so rude. So you grow up identifying with what you've been taught, and you go to school around 5 years old for kindergarten, 5 to 6 years old. And I personally think that's extremely early for a child to go into school where they learn to
turn right onto Peachtree Industrial Boulevard.
Where they learn to identify with a goal-oriented society that the schooling system is designed to crank out like an assembly line factory workers. That's what it's for. The Industrial Revolution.
Continue on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard for 2 miles.
The Industrial Revolution changed the way that we schooled our children. And one of the problems is you teach them to identify with your family. Loyalty to the family. Loyalty to the family. That's all there is family. Yes, family is a tremendous part of life, and it is where you have your first social interaction, your first learning experiences. But I think what we need to do is, much like they do in India, is wait until the child is like 10 to 12 years old before they start going to their school. And the reason being is because the parent, before that, would educate the child on how to identify with the entire cosmos, not just with themselves or their family. When you teach the child to identify with the rest of the world and all the poor people that are living in the world and all the rich people that are living in the world and all the evil people and all the good people, and with the earth and the grass and the trees and the sky and the clouds, the water cycle, just teach them how to identify. I'm a human being, I'm part of this ecosystem, and it is my responsibility to treat it justly and fairly and with great respect and honor, and to treat other individuals much the same. Because if you go far enough within you, you will come out in someone else, and you will realize that perhaps that's you in another parallel universe living that person's life, simultaneously to living your life in your dimension. We are everyone, we have been everyone, and we will be everyone. And if you can identify with that at an early age, then when you go to learn, you will take that knowledge that you learn, and instead of making it an egocentric life, which may still happen with some, but you can learn to take that knowledge and that history and the science and the math that you learn and convert that into a benefit for this world. So when we identify with everything at a young age, then why would we want to hurt anything if we are all of those things? So I think it's extremely important for all of you parents at home to take some real time, and this is going to sound rude, and it is rude, but it's also truthful. You need to stop dropping your kids off with babysitters. Stop dropping your kids off with nannies. Stop dropping your kids off to daycare. Find a way to do that yourself. Because what you're doing is you're putting the child's life and their future and the way that they're going to learn from now on in the hands of another individual that does not have the love that you should possess for your child. So you need to do the work as a parent. If you're going to have a
In
child,
a quarter mile, slight left.
if you're going to have a child, have a child. If you're not going to have a child, then don't. But if you're going to have one, don't give them to everyone else on the planet to take care of. It takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a parent to raise a human being. And that's your responsibility. It's my responsibility, and we need to do
Slight
a better
left.
job. So my message today is an encouragement message to the parents that if you spend time with your children and you put all of that effort,
In 600 feet, use the right lane to turn left onto Sugarloaf Parkway.
you put all of that
Use the
effort,
right lane to turn left onto Sugarloaf Parkway.
you put all of that effort into their lives, you will reap rewards in one way or another, in this life or the next. And everyone else here will benefit from that. Because all we do right now is drive around like little selfish ants building our own colonies, and all of those colonies will eventually collapse unless we foundation them with our love, our acceptance, our understanding, and our equality. I hope this message finds you well. I love you, and as always, be still, man.